He's like, I've been showering. Are you live?
It's live now.
Yeah, they heard you say that.
What is this?
Hey, Brian, can you?
Imagine.
No.
Imagine someone just pops on right there.
Oh no, they can see this all because it's gonna
be recorded.
Right.
It's recording right now. Toby Mack's here.
Evan,
Get
your
over
booty
here.
in here. What are you doing, Evan?
Everybody's watching on Facebook and not actually.
What is for?
He says I'm here.
No, you're not.
Get here in person,
Watch.
loser.
Someone tell Sam.
Evan Drayton, you listen here. Bud.
Sam,
Get
Evan's
here.
here.
Says he's here.
No, Evan's not. Evan is in his room.
Evan, Sam's
Yeah,
mad
she's
at
over
you
here.
because you're not
No, 'cause
here.
I'm sweating.
He'll get over it though. You know Sam.
Oh, Vance Russell's on, and all he can see is Aaron's face.
The fact that this is recorded and you're just like crying.
What a way to start Devos.
I know you're sweaty, but you just gotta wipe
Get
it
over
off.
here, you wimp. I'm sweaty.
We're live right now.
You're dead to me.
Guys, stop it.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, seriously, like.
I just love it because it records it, so it's gonna post it to the student page afterwards. So that's so funny.
Wow, now the entire student body's gonna know he's sweaty. Sorry.
What did Evan say?
I mean, he commented it, so.
Hi everyone that's watching at home.
Hi,
Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor.
Welcome to Devos. We haven't done this in a while. It's because it's just been weird. We had to cancel because of finals. And then we didn't have it last week because we just got here. So this is the first Devo of the year. We haven't done Devo since last year.
Wow.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to pray, and then Sam is going to lead us in worship, and Dylan has a message tonight, so can we give him a hand? Dear Jesus, thank you so much for this awesome night. Thank you so much that we can have Devos. Thank you so much that we can be in person and still have the ability to have people in their doors watching as well. We are so blessed for this space, so blessed that you brought us here. I pray for Sam and Dylan. I'm so lucky to have them here tonight, and I pray that worship goes well, and pray for Dylan as he gives us his message. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You guys want to stand for worship?
Heck yeah.
You've been so good to me.
place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God.
Dear Lord, I thank you for allowing us to be here, Lord, and I thank you for the people that you have to lead us in this school, Lord. I just pray that as the message goes tonight, Lord, that whether whatever is said is for the speaker or for one of us students or someone in their dorm, Lord, I just pray that your word gets shined across all the world. That your will be done. Amen.
Amen.
I didn't bring my mask.
Thank you, Sam. All right. You're in your second semester. You're just under 1 month of classes. Just right underneath being here for a month. How you feeling? Who here has had a paper that's over 3 pages in length? All right, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages? 5. All right. That's for a little under a month in. It's big assignments. What class was that for? Is it all the same one? 5-page paper?
Mine was public speaking, but I chose it
Public
down
speaking.
a lot. So.
What was your paper for?
Exegetical for final week.
What was your paper for? Computer. Yes.
I didn't like it too.
The professors are really hitting us hard. And personally, I am drowning in homework. I actually was doing 4 assignments that were due this morning, just a little bit before I came up here. But, you know, I've been able to do a good job for the most of it. And I'm happy with the work I put in. Sam and I, on our door, if you're in the guys' dorms, you've seen it, we have a whiteboard. And on this whiteboard, we have a rendition of the Jaws poster. And we have a guy up front and a shark getting ready to attack him. But the shark is labeled 4 weeks till midterms. Because they're coming. And that's crazy that they're approaching so fast.
Yeah, preach.
we have the rest of February, a week in March, and we're back taking tests. I want to say, man, school's hard. This school's hard. But on the bright side, 2020's over. Yeah. And 2020, during the fall semester at Boise Bible College is over. And all our problems are over. Maybe not. In a way, we have just crossed the mountain, had a quick bit of rest, and it's time to start climbing again. And thus is the life of a student. Jesus' disciples may have also felt this way. As we read through the Gospels, we see large events, short rests, and then large events. And their lives were jam-packed. Read Mark.
Yeah.
The joke is Mark's the action-packed Gospel, so it's like boom, boom, boom. Okay. One of the times I relate to them in early Jesus' ministry is in Mark chapter 4. Now, if you know anything about Mark chapter 4, it is the teaching chapter. Jesus is sitting by the Sea of Galilee, and a crowd of 1,000 come up upon him and back him up to the waters. And Jesus is like, this is a perfect time to teach people. So he does this amazing thing, kind of a science experiment. He gets into a boat, and he has them push him back a little bit, and it creates a natural amphitheater with the nature, so that his voice can be heard clearly over 1,000 people. It's crazy how just that space amplifies over the water into the people. And as he's, during this teaching, we get many parables. We get the parable of the sower, parable of the lamp, parable of the measures, the parable of the mustard seed. And these are spiritually forming for the people and the disciples. It's a lot of teaching. And we get to the end of that teaching. And Jesus says, you know what? We're in a boat. Let's cross a lake, the Sea of Galilee. The text reads, this is Mark 4:35 through 41. On that day when evening had come, he said to them, let us cross to the other side. And leaving the crowd, they took with him the boat just as he was, and other boats were with him. Jesus just spent the day teaching and preaching, and he's plumb tuckered out. Jesus was 100% God, he was 100% man, and men get tired. And so he lays down and he decides to take a little nap. And as he naps, the disciples, they're sailing the boat across this sea, probably in like some sort of autopilot, because most of them were fishermen. Most of them lived in the Sea of Galilee. It was probably like no big deal. They're just like, yeah, this is what we do. It's like that time, you know that time where you're driving and you're like, you get that realization that you're driving. Might have been a little bit like that for them. Most of them are fishermen by profession. So, the text says they come upon a great storm. It says a furious squall came up and the waves broke over the boat so it was nearly swamped. The fact that these pro-fishermen were so scared of this storm, and the fact that the boat was being swamped, showed that this was no kiddie storm, but something unimaginable, a big tragedy, a disaster. Continuing, Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on his cushion. The disciples woke up and said to him, Teacher, don't you care that we are going to drown? And he got up, rebuked the wind, rebuked the waves, said to them, Quiet, be still. Then the wind died down and it was completely calm. He said to the disciples, Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith? They were terrified and asked each other, Who is this that even the wind and waves obey him? Sometimes life hits us hard, and we are found fearing for our lives or thinking, I'm not sure I can make it. Drowning. Events, tragedies, disasters happen. In our broken world, things can get dark. For the disciples, this was a great storm. In our lives, it could be something simple as a hurtful word said by a trusted friend, or a grade that just wasn't as great as you expected it to be. Or it could be sickness and even the loss of loved ones. As students in Bible college, like the disciples, we can get into an autopilot. Yeah, classes get harder, But a lot of you guys are a semester in, a lot of you guys are more than a semester in. And as you go, you know what books to get in the library. You know what professors expect when you write papers for them. You know how to use your resources and talk to friends and professors if you need help. Things come easier and you get into an autopilot. And autopilot in a lot of ways is fine. I don't think the disciples were doing anything horrible by just doing their job that they did beforehand, sailing boats. But autopilots can be dangerous. And it can be dangerous when panic sets in and danger hits and we are blindsided by great storms. And we can try to bail all we can. But in the end, our boat starts to become swamped and panic sets in. Just like the disciples, a lot of us are brought to our knees, crying out to Jesus, saying, "Why? Why would you let this happen? Don't you care? Look at me. I'm drowning. Don't you care, Jesus? You're supposed to be with me." But we forget that Jesus was never not in our boat. He was back, relaxing on the cushion. In our autopilot, we are oblivious to his presence. That he was with us through that storm. This reminds me of another storm on the Sea of Galilee. 4, 5, 6. 2 more chapters down in Mark. The disciples went ahead of Jesus. They're sailing across the Sea of Galilee again. And they look out as water's getting rough, and they see a man walking on the water, and they think he's a ghost. And they call out, and they're scared. And the man says, don't be afraid, I'm Jesus. And Peter says, if you're Jesus, I trust you to call me out upon the waves. And so the text reads, Jesus calls him out, and Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind and the waves, he was afraid and began to sink and cried out, "Lord, save me!" Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You have little faith," he said. "Why did you doubt?" Jesus is more than just in our boat through the storms. And a lot of times, he's what's holding us up in those storms. And when we get into those tragedies and those hard spots, often we can be tempted to take our eyes off Jesus. And when we do that, we begin to sink, and the storm ends up consuming us. And we're left crying out to God. I'm not going to say that 2021 is going to be easier than 2020. I'm not going to say you don't have storms. But I'm going to say Jesus is in your boat. And in times of trouble, look to him. The end.
Thanks, man. Alright, come on. Yeah, so put it for me. There you go. Perfect. Thanks everyone for coming. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna get back in a good rhythm of having devos. I think this was a good first devo of the year. Thanks so much, Dylan. Thanks so much, Sam, for using your talents that God has given you to help worship or help us worship Him. It was great. So I'm gonna pray and then we're good to go. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for this great night, this time we got to spend with you, this time we got to learn more about you. God, I pray that you give us strength to get through this week and get through this term. God, we need strength to get through papers. We are weary and tired. Please give us strength, please give us peace, and please give us joy. Thank you so much that we can meet in person. Thank you so much for this place called Boise Bible College. In your name, amen. Amen. Thanks, guys. I'm going to awkwardly turn off the live.
It's this moment that's like
The worst.
Goodbye to the turn off button.
Bye, computer.
It's awkwardly just when you look like an old man, you're just trying to turn it off.
Oh, good, turn it off. Okay.
Where is the off button? Oh, there it is.
Finish.